This is you. You're sitting in a climate-controlled server room somewhere beneath a perfectly legal accounting firm in Zurich, watching $300 million move across 6 continents in the time it takes a normal person to microwave lunch. No names, no flags, no paper trail. Just numbers dissolving into other numbers like smoke in a hurricane. The money isn't yours. It never is. That's the whole point. You're not a thief. You're not a launderer. You're something far more dangerous. You're the infrastructure, the invisible architecture that keeps the global criminal economy from eating itself alive. Cartels, arms dealers, sanctioned oligarchs, rogue states, the occasional disgraced billionaire. They all come to you. Not because you're the cheapest option, because you're the only option that actually works. You built this system from scratch using 17 shell corporations, 4 crypto mixing protocols, a network of compliant bankers across 11 jurisdictions, and 1 golden rule that has kept you breathing for 9 years. You never touch the politics. You move money. That's it. You don't care who wins the war. You care that the wire clears before 4 a.m. The operation runs clean because you run it paranoid. Your clients never meet you in person. They interface with a handler, who interfaces with a relay account, which routes through a dead drop protocol you rotate every 72 hours. Your real identity exists in exactly 3 places: a safety deposit box in Singapore, a biometric vault in Panama, and inside your own skull. You haven't used your birth name since the Obama administration. Your face hasn't appeared on a government database in longer than that. You are, for all practical purposes, a ghost operating in plain sight. Incorporated, registered, filing quarterly taxes on a consultancy that services fictional clients. The IRS has audited you twice. Both times you walked away clean. Because the only thing more dangerous than running dirty money is running sloppy books. Today should be routine. A 9-figure transfer from a Venezuelan energy conglomerate, which is a creative way of saying cartel, routing through a series of Maltese holding companies before landing in a legitimate real estate fund in Dubai. You've run this exact playbook 40 times. But routine died the second your most senior handler pinged you with 3 words on the emergency channel. New client. Mandatory. You hate that word. Mandatory means someone with enough leverage over your network to bypass the standard vetting process. That's a list of maybe 4 people on Earth, and every single one of them is the kind of problem that ends careers. Or pulses. The new client is introduced to you through an intermediary you've worked with twice. Both times for entities that rhyme with Central Intelligence. The ask is not complicated on the surface. Move $400 million. Split it across 23 separate destination accounts. Complete the transfer within 36 hours and leave no forensic trail connecting the funds to a specific Eastern European Defense Ministry currently under UN sanctions. Standard rogue state cleanup. You've done similar work before, always at arm's length, always with enough deniability to sleep at night. But here's where the routine starts bleeding. The intermediary sends you the source wallet addresses, and your system flags something your gut was already screaming. 2 of those addresses were frozen by OFAC 8 days ago. Someone burned a federal investigation to get that money moving. And they used your network's routing signature to do it, meaning someone with deep access to your architecture tipped them off that this channel exists. You don't have a leak. You have a traitor. You run the access logs going back 60 days. 14 people touch the core infrastructure at various clearance levels. You cross-reference behavioral anomalies, unusual login times, transfers that deviated from client instruction by even a single decimal point. It takes you 4 hours. It takes you 4 hours because the person you're looking for is good. Almost good enough. They covered their tracks everywhere except one place. The timestamp on a dormant relay account that pinged back to life for exactly 9 seconds at 3:47 a.m. 2 weeks ago. 9 seconds is enough time to copy a routing map, and the device that accessed it pings to a cafe in Lisbon, registered to a name that means nothing, but the MAC address matches a laptop your second most trusted handler brought into the server room for a firmware update 3 months back. Your second most trusted handler, who you personally recruited, who you personally trained, who currently has access to the physical backup drives stored at a secondary facility in Rotterdam. The same Rotterdam facility that 3 client accounts use as a reference anchor for identity verification. If those drives get pulled or copied, you don't just have an exposure problem. You have an extinction event. You make 2 calls. The first is to a freelance security contractor you've used exactly once before for a situation you don't discuss. You give him the Lisbon address and a very specific set of instructions that don't include the word retrieve. The second call is to a trusted relay in Rotterdam to trigger an emergency wipe protocol on the backup servers, a process that takes 40 minutes and leaves nothing but formatted drives and a reasonable cover story about a power surge. Then you sit very still for approximately 30 seconds and think about the new client. Because here's what the math is telling you. The rogue state transfer, the burned OFAC investigation, the traitor inside your network. These aren't 3 separate problems. They're one coordinated play. Someone is building a case, not to arrest you. Arrests require evidence presented in courts, and courts are public. This is a leverage operation. Someone wants to own you. They want the infrastructure, the client list, the routing architecture, everything you've built, transferred under new management. And the traitor is their inside man, meant to make sure you have nowhere to run before they make the offer. You've seen this move before. You've watched it happen to 3 other operators in this space over the past decade. 2 of them took the deal. One of them is currently managing a CIA-adjacent slush fund from a protected location in Tbilisi, doing the same job he always did, just for a different boss. The other one is doing 30 years in a Belgian federal prison, which everyone in this world understands as the polite version of the same outcome. The third operator didn't take the deal, and didn't go quietly. He's referenced in this industry exclusively in past tense, so you understand the geometry of your situation. They want compliance or silence, and they've already started removing your exits. But here's what they miscalculated. In 9 years of moving money for the most dangerous people on Earth, you have accumulated something more valuable than the funds themselves. You have the receipts, every transaction, every client, every government official who looked the other way, every sanctions officer who cleared a wire they should have blocked, every defense contractor who used your network to move commissions that weren't supposed to exist. 114 terabytes of documented hypocrisy, encrypted, distributed across servers in 4 different jurisdictions under a dead man's protocol that triggers automatically if you miss a daily check-in for more than 48 hours. You built it as insurance the same way you built everything, quietly, patiently, before you needed it. And right now, it's the only reason you're still thinking in terms of options instead of outcomes. Your encrypted phone lights up. Unknown number. You already know who it is. You let it ring twice, then you answer, and you say nothing. A voice you don't recognize, calm, professional, vaguely institutional, tells you that a conversation is being requested, that your situation is navigable, that reasonable people can reach reasonable arrangements. You let the silence stretch until it gets uncomfortable. Then you tell them, with the same tone you use when you're explaining a wire routing to a new handler, that you're familiar with navigable situations, that you've been navigating them since before whoever is on this phone got cleared for the operation they're currently running, and that before anyone gets too comfortable with the shape of this arrangement, they should be aware that the dead man's protocol runs on a 48-hour clock. The clock started 6 hours ago, and the only person in the world who knows the reset sequence is currently sitting in a server room in Zurich, deciding whether this conversation is worth continuing. The silence on the other end is a different kind of silence than before. It has weight to it. Your contractor in Lisbon just sent a confirmation. 1 word. Done. Rotterdam wipe completes in 11 minutes. The Venezuelan transfer is still sitting in the queue, uncompleted, and $400 million of politically radioactive money is currently nobody's problem except the people who sent it. You have 42 hours on the clock, leverage no one anticipated, and an enemy that just realized they came to this negotiation significantly underprepared. The phone is still connected. You can hear them breathing. You ask if they'd like to start over,